This is episode 530 of the One Piece podcast for Monday, July 30th, 2018. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
And on this week's episode, we have writer for the podcast, Jill Knight, with us. How's it going, Jill?
Pretty good. It is burning in California, but that's normal, so I'm still alive.
I'm glad even though Steven's not here this week, we get our normal California weather update. Thank you, Jill.
Well, it's burning with a nice hint of humidity, so it's
just enough to make it so much worse.
We also have Anime News Network reviewer for One Piece and many other shows. And our good friend, Anime Recap host, Sam Leach, is with us. How's it going, Sam?
The weather here is actually, super nice.
It's great. The one time a year. It's not negative 30. So, on today's episode, we got that, Food Wars thing,
It's called Shokugeki no Sanji, Zach.
Sound very excited, Zach.
We also have an anime recap. Sam, what is that for?
That was for episode 847.
Do you know the name? No.
A coincidental reunion. Sanji and the love-struck evil pudding.
Ah.
That also sounds like a Food Wars title.
It's a very Sanji-heavy podcast. It's like I won a contest.
It's almost like it was the year of Sanji 2 years ago.
It's the day of Sanji.
Today's the day of Sanji.
Still reaping the rewards of the year of Sanji.
The day of Sanji.
If you're a Sanji fan, this podcast is for you, and that's the only person it's for.
Don't listen to Zach. He wants his episode in the can. I'm breaking the fourth wall.
Okay, so before we get started, there's some really cool news that I want to talk about, and that is that
Cool news!
Cool news, everyone. Sorry, I did another thing there.
Wait, it sounds like the hip '90s version of Big News Morgan, his cousin.
Cool news for teens.
Morgans.
Cool news Morgans.
Nick News Morgans.
The news cools.
Okay, we'll get to this news now. Greg's 100th column has come out. You could check that out. Although not in the normal place, it's available on YouTube. And Ed, do you want to talk a little bit more about it since you were involved in it?
Well, it's a video of... It's Greg basically talking to Western One Piece fans, including me. And I honestly, at this point, forget who is also on it with me. I should look that up.
Oh my god.
Steven.
You, Steven, Alex, and Robbie, right?
Another
Robbie, right?
Yeah, I think that was his name.
Yeah. He's on AP. He's been on Arlong Park for like a decade.
Forever.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
But it's it was a lot of fun to talk, sort of, talking in English about One Piece, and also like related to the Japanese perspective, and I guess sort of what we find striking in the series.
For Ed, talking in English about One Piece is a very new thing. No.
Oh yeah, very. It was a lot of fun from what I remember. It took a long time to get through the, all the approvals that it needed to get to be put out and all the other stuff. So I'm excited to see what ended up making it into the final video.
And what you said. No, there's a full-length video, I know, and there's a short version as well.
Okay.
It's
I was
really
at work all day. I didn't get a chance to see it.
It's cool seeing you Japanified in a sense, like just
really?
Just like advertised it to a Japanese audience, but it's you guys.
Is they have the picture-in-picture with people watching us and reacting to it?
We're gonna do that one of these years. We're gonna have a YouTube video where it's just like me. It'll be Steve reacting to things, I think.
Zach, you don't even know how to fix WordPress. How are you gonna do that?
I can make videos.
Thank you. Sam will do it. And also, Steve is just breaking the fourth wall all day today. So
You gotta pay me though.
Okay. There was a little bit of a delay. We have that. We have pieced together for you this week the anime recap, manga recap. There was, as we said, I would definitely check out Greg's video. Greg also has had a lot of really cool adventures over in Japan, so check out his Twitter feed. That's twitter.com/Ochimusha108 if you have not. We've also been retweeting most of his stuff, including fidget spinners with One Piece logos on it. Right, guys? Right? Okay.
Hey, why not? I still have a fidget spinner. I bought one once.
Do you use it?
I don't know where it is.
So yeah,
May
it looks like Greg is having a lot of fun over there. And our editor-in-chief Kelly is also having a lot of fun in Japan. I believe she is in Hokkaido at the moment. So thanks to all of them. Oh, one other big thing. William and perhaps some special guests. You may remember William as having attended the recent One Piece Day event and also being our news reporter for years upon years. Will be playing an old One Piece game. I'm curious if anyone here knows this one. It's called From TV Animation, One Piece, Legend of the Rainbow Island. That's the for the Wonder Swan. Oh, an old Japanese handheld. Anyway, so he's going to be doing that this Sunday, August 5th, 8 a.m. Japan time. That's August 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So that's Saturday if you're in the United States and probably most of the world, and Sunday if you're in Japan and anywhere in the Eastern Hemisphere. Not even, whatever it is. Anyway, check that out. That'll probably be on our YouTube or Twitch channel, both of which are youtube.com/OnePiecePodcast and twitch.tv/OnePiecePodcast. If you have not subscribed, please do. Anyway, with all of that out of the way, you guys ready to get into the episode?
Yeah.
This is the manga recap for chapter 913, special one-shot, Food Wars, Shokugeki no Sanji. Wait a second. Ed,
that was last week. Yeah.
What's going on this page?
Well, it's first this cover page of steamy Sanji with a knife. Look at that. Steamy.
Well, there's a page before that.
He's going out of order, Steve.
So there, yeah, we get the approach of the Baratier, and it's you get someone saying, "Oh, so that's the notorious floating restaurant, hmm?" At first glance, it looks deplorably third-rate. And Sanji is off on the balcony taking a smoke break. As he does, we interior. So the Baratier and the same person, clearly says, "I thought as much. Nothing but low-class slop. I would rather a derelict barge such as this not dare presume to call itself a restaurant." As she fidgets in her chair, and you can see that she has like this really tightly wound bun hairdo, and everyone at the restaurant is sort of turning to notice what this woman is doing as we look directly up her skirt.
Real tightwad.
Yeah.
Sam?
Yeah, so we turn the page. We meet this woman. She's a big woman. She looks like she's probably pretty rich. It's an insult to gourmet taste everywhere. Who does? And we see the chefs watching her, saying, "Just who does this woman think she is? Is that even a woman or even human? Looks almost like a Neptunian." Oh, that's rude. I haven't even really read this, honestly.
Yes, it's very rude.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, welcome to Food Wars, apparently.
Want me to kick her out? Wait a minute. Is that who I think it is? And this woman notices a waiter behind her, and she's motioning him over. "Oh, hey, waiter, moment. Can I have a moment with you?" And it's Sanji, not quite looking as cool as he did in his introduction in Oda's manga, where he had like the plates on his head. But he's just kind of wandering around, smoking indoors. Waiter, oh, you mean me?
And then Sanji proceeds to walk over to her table and speaks in creative block font. He says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just coming back from my break." And he's like, "Oh, be a dear and get the head chef because I want to complain." And he says, "Oh, well, the head chef is out buying supplies today. Oh, I see you left a lot of food untouched." And she's like, "Oh, it's like there's no need. I've seen enough." And I was like, "If the head chef isn't here, I'll be on my way." And Sanji kind of just gives this look like, "Oh, I'm gonna do my thing, my shtick." And Sanji's like, oh, isn't it a little cruel to ignore like your dishes like that? And then the chef says like, oh, let her go. And it's like, but make sure she pays first. And then we get like someone else yelling, says like, it's like can't let her walk out the door, boys. And it's familiar. I would say familiar face, but it's the back of the head. So I'm saying, paying customers are customers no matter how bad they are. And to let her go like this, it would be a big disservice to all the other customers who generously came here today. And then we get another familiar back of the head. So it's like, oh, if it was just any other hooligan, give him a whole knuckle sandwich because we're a restaurant.
Yeah, we're big tough chefs, so give him a knuckle sandwich, eh?
But if someone has a problem with the flavors we're serving, then their fists are quite enough. We're going to show folks what happens when you diss the good name of the Baratier, and then people acknowledge the chefs, and Sanji acknowledge these familiar backs of heads. It's Patty and Carne.
Ooh.
And then we get a face-forward shot of them looking a little more intimidating than they look in the actual series. Just a little.
Look at those abs.
His clothes are a little tighter, too. How are those buttons like not pressing into his flesh?
And then they're like, what makes you think you've got the right to talk about our food? How about one of our specialties? Let's see what kind of big talker you are. And then she looks a little intimidating. I was going to say, I'm fat, I can say it. She looks like she's going to eat them, my God. And then suddenly they remember, one of the chefs remembers who this woman is. It's Sovereign, a famous gourmand whose name is known even on the Grand Line. And I think that's a type of cake. So we're going by naming schemes here. Maybe she's one of Big Mom's kids. Who knows? And they call her the tongue that spans the seas. A big-time player on the foodie scene. She does it all. From writing reviews that maybe Big News Morgans picks up on his newspaper.
Or one of his cousins, like Cool News and Nick News.
Oh, including the News Coot. So yeah, okay. To doing event planning and employing chefs for royal summits. She's got backers galore in the political and financial spheres. And she has reviews that have spelled doom for countless restaurants around the world.
I love this picture. I love this design here. I love her sharp nails and her head that looks like a chocolate cornet, and like her and the tongue. She looks like a Pokemon. She's a cornet. She's a lick-a-tongue with a cornetto head.
Like Majin Buu.
In the actual Shokugeki series, there is a girl with they call it the God tongue. So I guess they had to translate to the tongue that spans the seas.
I wonder if that's because when you see it in the anime, you're like, oh God.
So we go to the next page. We basically get an explanation of that, and she explains, I generally spend my time working with only the highest quality cuisine. How long can I keep this up? But I had heard a rumor of a notorious floating restaurant. So yeah, she explains. I think I broke Steve, I'm gonna say.
Multiple people.
Okay, good. So yeah, she's talking, and so,
she says words.
She says words, and Sanji's like, "Whoa, hold it! Who cares about any of those words you just said?" And I totally listened to. I'm just saying, clean the plate that's in front of you. And she says, "You know what? I think I will be generous and give you one more chance. But if you cannot please me, I will write a review stating anyone who enjoys it has the taste buds of a..." Whatever she's saying here.
Keep it up.
Who hasn't had a working taste bud in her whole life. Anyway, they all start fighting on the Baratier as to who should be the one to cook for her. Patty and Carne, and Sanji ellipses the whole thing, and she said, "I feel sorry for you." For working here. You should be working at a more appropriate establishment. I don't know what she is implying there.
No, she's implying that she thinks he's a waiter and that he's very handsome. That's about it.
Yeah, so I think she's... What is it? What's the opposite of a maid cafe? The male version?
Host club.
Host club. I should know that. I think that's what she's implying.
Cook, fall in love.
Oh, very good. Very good. All right. Yeah, Sanji, he gets very well drawn in this panel, and he takes drag on his thing. He's like, thanks, but no thanks. See, I owe a thing or two to the owner here. I can't just pack up and leave. And I like her hand on cheek, sort of, staring at Sanji over the table like that. It's like, oh, pish. Don't give me that sentimental hooey. This is business. The only things of value are money and reputation. Letting sentiment sway you is a sign of being second-rate. Well, I suspected as much from the beginning. Simple novelty is the only reason anyone would come to a place like this. It certainly wouldn't be for the food. Listen, true gourmet can whet the appetite and spur the imagination at only a glance. The finest of luxury ingredients prepared by a skilled
You don't
elite.
have to read all of this. It means nothing.
I like her haughty delivery.
Am I being too... No, I don't care.
But yeah. Something like that. It has no worth at all. Yeah, you're all third-rate bullshit, she says. Yeah, she was upset, but now I just find it funny. I mean, sad. Not upset at all. She lifts her hand. She does this like she's holding a tray of something. And she's like, "Is the owner an older gentleman? Yes. Is he perhaps senile? To consider a cheap rundown excuse for a restaurant like this his treasure." And Sanji's cigarette explodes in his mouth. He's so angry.
The old man isn't senile. He once ate his own foot.
On purpose.
Intentionally.
All right, that's it. Next page.
Yeah, and so she's cracking a joke. She's saying, "Oh, if you'd like, you could prepare a dish for me." And Sanji is doing his best Carrie Elways, as you wish. And she's surprised by this. She's like, "What? Wait, what? What am I walking into?" But if I can please your palate, madam, in exchange, I ask that you promise to eat every last bite every last bite on the plate in front of you. And she's just like, this isn't registering for her yet. She's like, "What? Do what now?" And Sanji is very smoothly like taking his jacket off. He's draping it over his arm. He's tightening up his tie, getting all sexy looking, and then
well drawn
whack.
stripes. Yeah.
Wait, so why does he neatly fold the suit over his arm only to throw the suit?
Well, he's getting his hands free to tie.
You can see how carefully I read this the first time.
And then he's going to do a move.
Yeah.
He's going to do a cool thing.
He's not folding it over. That's just him taking it off.
Yeah, I see what's happening now. Steve.
And then he continues to look very sexy in this big single-page spread of "Wait one moment, please," as he's walking with his jacket over his shoulder. He says, "Patty, Carney, get the hell out of the way. Get the burners going. Start preheating the oven. Move." And Patty's just shouts. He's like, "Hey, who says you get to order me around, squid for brains?" And he continues. He says, "And what makes you think you get to do the cooking?" He's like, "Well, darn it, Sanji." And he says, like, "Just shut up." And Sovereign is like, "Tee-hee, that poor waiter's getting all riled up." It's like, I hope she didn't. I hope he didn't take my attempt to destroy him too seriously. And then Sanji starts rolling up his sleeves and says, "Oh, hey, the one we got in last week, because it's fully purged by now, right? Go get it for me." And Carney's is like, "That one? You serious?" And Sanji just pulls back a cutting knife. It looks like he's about to play ping pong.
Looks like Light Yagami from Death Note.
Yeah. So I wore like almost the same outfit today, but damn, I don't look like that. I mean, I'll just be
Shokugeki no Zach.
That's actually, no, I do walk around posing like that usually around New York City, but no one notices.
With a knife?
It's not really that unusual. No, I meant the other panel, but sure, whichever you want. With a knife? In the den? Jill.
Okay. So we get right into the cooking. Sanji takes the knife and slices it down a lobster's back.
With a knife?
with a knife. And then
I
there's
could
a
run
bunch
a
of
joke
cooking.
into the ground quicker than anyone.
That's all right. And then there's a bunch of terms for cooking that I don't know because I can't cook. But he's chopping things. There's a pan. Some cork piles up. Probably alcohol.
I hope Joel does the manga recaps like this from now on. I like
It's
it.
a cognac, I think he says.
Sure.
Always fat.
And then flambe. I know that one. It's on fire. Yay.
And no, not the character.
I mean, not this
Really?
time.
I really like those two panels of him, like the flambe picture, and also him hitting that lobster in the back with a knife. It's very dynamic.
I also have to assume the lobster was alive because that's usually
Yeah.
they're boiled alive, but maybe he like cut it and that's how he murdered it. Sanji murdering lobster.
People are too disconnected from the fact that most food involves murder.
I mean, yes, that is true.
One way or another.
Yeah.
And then like can't say I like the bossy bastard, but there's no doubting his skills. And then whoop slap here, clearly.
No.
No, it's a mysterious figure with a mysteriously kept mustache. Says things are lively around here today, huh?
Yep.
Oh, that's me. It's Zeff, guys. And he's
Look at the angles on his face.
he's looking much more not like himself than usual.
He's got the most luscious lips.
Yeah.
He kind of looks like a video game villain.
He looks
Yeah.
like a Boondocks character. Do you know what I mean?
Bushido Brown.
Sure. Sure. Anyway.
Barati, Zach, they're going to change your name to Baratiitis.
There's so many good titles for this episode already. So anyway, Patty and Korone are like, "Oh, you're back early, sir. You see, Sanji already started cooking." He's like, "That's fine, let him." And then there's no more dialogue for most of the page as Zeff looks on as Sanji cooks and throws some random bits of something into a fiery something. And everyone is like, "Oh my god, how are we able to see into the kitchen?"
No, time passes. That's what those
sorry.
3 little rectangular panels of nothing are.
I obviously do
interesting.
not read Food Wars. So
That's interesting. I've never seen that in One Piece before with those 3 blocks.
they don't do that in One Piece.
No, I know. It's like I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah, I had no idea that that's what that was. I just assumed
It's
they
not
were
too
like,
different from what Oda would do, except there's usually something like in the
It's in the
blocks.
panel, yeah.
Mm.
I just assumed that his dish was so luminously delicious that it was coming out of the kitchen and into the next room. Anyway, he serves the dish, and what's on it, Ed?
It's please enjoy it while it's still hot. And you have one guy with like a headband on and says like, "Wow, that's one preposterously huge lobster."
Okay, that is not whoop slap. I know you thought that is not.
That
whoop
was no.
slap.
The guy who says that is the guy on
No,
the
no,
right.
the one in the
guy
middle.
in the middle
No,
is
he
not,
is.
who's definitely not hoop slap.
He's
I never
definitely
said that
not.
it was.
Steve did.
He's like,
Steve said
Oh.
it was.
Guys,
look at how that meat glistens in the light.
Ew.
I can see how delicious it'll be all the way from here. That alone is enough to tell me it was prepared by an elite chef. And a woman is really enjoying the fragrance of the broth. It's quite perverted, actually.
Shocking.
And so yeah, she has this sort of almost disgusted look on her. She's like, "Ugh," and picks up a piece of it, and steam comes off. She puts it in her mouth, Nom. And go to the next page.
All right, we're finally getting to the good stuff. What we come to Food Wars for? Naked people.
hardcore nudity.
Yes.
Yes, this woman's clothes get blown right off. No way. Where did all this delicious flavor come from? Aromatic savoriness gushing with every bite. Succulent meat so sweet it's nearly vicious. Delicate flavors perfectly accentuated with just the right blend of herbs. And dipping it into the lightly cooked tamale adds even more layers of creamy depth. Okay, I don't know what any of this stuff means.
Yeah, you do not have
but-
to read this verbatim because none of it matters.
And Sanji's watching on. He's like, you would know, wouldn't you, madame? Yes, that is indeed a tomahawk lobster. and then some descriptions of what the tomahawk lobster are. A lot of words. I'm not patient.
I mean, if you look
Impossible.
at the mantis shrimp, it's actually similar to what a mantis shrimp actually is, because they have big claws and they can take the heads off of things.
Oh yeah, those
have
things.
tomahawk chop.
Those things are awesome, by the way. Mantis
So it's
shrimp.
a giant mantis shrimp. That's terrifying.
Mantis shrimp
Yeah.
could have a wider range of colors they are able to see than any other creature on Earth.
So it's a lobster with axes for hands.
Yeah.
All right. And the woman is screaming, "Impossible! Absolutely impossible! The tomahawk lobster is one of the most difficult shellfish to prepare in the world. Even elite chefs at the most famous of hot cuisine restaurants have trouble preparing them. There's no way a mere waiter at some third-rate greasy spoon could make a dish of this caliber." And Sanji is grinning to himself. "Oh, about that. Sorry, I'm not actually a waiter."
You're not? He says, like, just so happens that our part-time wait staff all ran out on us. That kind of thing happens around here. So we kitchen staff, we all take turns waiting tables. That's all. The name's Sanji. I'm the sous chef at the sea restaurant Baratier. Remember that. The sous chef him? That's what she thinks. This is like, let me set the record straight. Those pretentious dishes that you were talking about, yeah, we could totally make those. But the Baratier isn't about food like that. It says to provide a moment's rest for sailors in the middle of a long, tiring voyage, to provide good, hearty food for any and all comers who arrive with empty stomachs. That's what the Baratier is all about. Flimsy, one-trick tongue like yours has no say thing about this ship. And then Patty and Carne are like, yeah. And like Zeff is also like, yeah. And now Sanji slams his hand on the table and says, "Now, madame." And
He
leans-
said,
sorry.
and then we go into the next page where a very debonair, kind of scary Sanji says, "If you would please clean your plate just like you promised to." And this woman's losing it. She's just, how dare he lecture me? I just can't tear my mind away from this dish. She's like thinking like, oh God, I'm getting attacked by this mantis shrimp tomahawk lobster. It's cutting off her necklace. He's stripping her away. Everything's
Metaphorically.
No, in Shokugeki, this happens literally.
The plates somehow return to their original form, and they're like, "Damn you for trying to eat me!" And
in Shokugeki, if a plate is good enough, that people literally lose their clothes, and it can extend to people around the person who is eating them.
What a series.
It's like they did Yakitate Japan, but horny.
Basically, she's saying it's so good, it feels like a delicious fruit, a forbidden fruit that changes you completely, gives you powers, a devil fruit. I'm calling BS. Devil fruits taste like shit.
Excuse me, but if you read One Piece, you know that the devil fruits taste like an asshole.
Steve, you're next.
And then apparently Naruto shows up and does a centerfold no jutsu. Because then she miraculously turns into an ideal figure for a manga creator. And the strip fruit, apparently. Isn't this Alvida's fruit? I don't know.
I don't know. She somehow gets reverse scoliosis, too.
Yeah, she loses about like 200 pounds and steam from the
We
from
sure
the
that's steam?
No, it's steam from the steam gams we're having.
I'm not familiar with that phrase.
So I'm not familiar with food wars, but
Look at them games.
It's an East Blue expression.
Despite the fact that they are obviously grilled gams.
So Jill was saying this literally happened, so that she literally transform into a completely different person, buck naked, right in the middle of this restaurant.
I've never seen anyone lose weight on it. Well, actually, that's not true. One dude apparently sweated away 200 pounds in Shokugeki over the course of a summer. But usually they just show up naked.
The next page, it seems like that is not what happened.
I think I found a worse non-canon devil fruit than the whisper fruit. It's the strip fruit. I've eaten the strip fruit. Now I've gotten the powers to just be naked all the time. Oh, I mean, everyone can do that.
Now she can't swim.
So now you can't swim, idiot. So some time passes. We see the ceiling of the Baratier. Sanji lights up his cigarette with his matches. He doesn't have his fancy $5,000 lighter yet. Puts his jacket back on, loosens up his tie, and says, "Boys, Madame is ready to go home."
I still love the idea of devil fruits of things you could just do normally. Ooh, I have the eat fruit. I could eat food whenever I'd like. Or I have the breathe fruit. I could breathe air whenever I wanna. Ed, go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, they get this big, like, 2/3 of a page spread there where he's like, "Somebody see her to the door." And be polite about it, too. As he walks away coolly with a big puff of smoke coming up from behind him. And everyone cheers for Sanji, which puts this into, our that happened territory right here. Everyone cheered. But, yeah.
And that chef, Albert Einstein.
Gave him $100. Yeah. So, yeah, the chefs are like, "Yeah, Sanji, that was awesome. I feel so much better now thanks for whooping that puffed up old hag's butt, putting her in her place." But Sanji is surprised by this reaction. He says, "Hey, what are you talking about? I would never harm a lady, no matter who they are."
She's dead, Jim.
She looked pretty dead. Like, yeah.
But she just said woo.
And here we have I don't remember the author here, but he's trying to do his most One Piece face here, clearly.
He looks deranged.
He does look deranged, saying, "All I did was cook her a tasty meal," and we have Zeff just, like, in the background, like, "That kid's grown up so much. He may have outgrown my little restaurant." And Patty and Carney is like, "Just please return to your meals. That's it for today's show." And there's an order up at table 5 that Sanji walks to, and right then,
table 5.
Table 5.
And right then, Patty and Carney look out the window and see that Jin Urso did in fact get the Death Star plans and send them to the rebel army above. And just then, Darth Vader. Oh wait, how far can I go with that? No, it is the Straw Hats. What? That's it. I don't care.
I don't think it's anything important.
Just some pirates.
Shouldn't Full Body be in the restaurant at this point?
Shut up. Time clearly passed on the previous page, so who knows what happened there.
No, actually, the Straw Hats approached Baratier, and then like Full Body came in shortly after. So
true. Okay.
Somehow this is better than our movie 8 recap that we never released. Sam, what did you think?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
thanks,
Steve.
Sam. Glad to have you on the show,
Steve.
Well, I'm one of the resident Sanji fans here, and it was nice to revisit Sanji of old. The less lecherous.
Cool.
Sanji.
Ed, what did you think?
God, can I get more than like a sentence in?
No.
It's lightning round.
Sanji, I don't know. Sanji gets to look cool a lot. He had a lot of really cool looking.
Awesome, Jill.
I like Shokugeki, and I liked it except for the panel where she got thin for no reason whatsoever.
Okay, any final thoughts, Steve?
Yeah. And
that was great. Okay.
Sanji Smexy.
Does Zach's wife have like a gun to his head?
No, Steve, you could go on.
This was fun. It's like I always have fondness for East Blue, and it's Sanji. It's Sanji act like doing the things that made me really grow to like his character in the first place. Him kind of proving these obnoxious people wrong, and not always being about substance. At this point, it's more about the steak and not the sizzle with Sanji. When he's
but what about the salad?
Don't you start.
Because I don't remember this happening.
This is basically how he beat Big Mom, and he's honestly, though. Like, fed her
Yeah.
a cake, and I mean, thank God she didn't get naked, but just calmed her down.
To
She
each
did
their
have
own.
delusional fantasies.
And she did get thinner.
That is true, but that happened.
Well, she got thinner before she
Yeah, let's be fair. Yeah, this was a fun manga recap. I'll give it that.
Yeah. Well, who here actually reads Food Wars?
Me.
Wow, not all at
Oh.
once, guys. Besides Jill.
Well, Jill, like I only know like the gist of Food Wars, that just people eat, people get naked. The artwork is pretty. The artwork was very pretty. Some really cool poses. I'm kind of curious what the turnaround was for completing this, because it just looks gorgeous. But they probably had a
He said he was
lot-
doing it during his regular serialization. I know. So
Damn, these guys are beasts.
they are.
It was fun though. It's it's akin to like what we already know about Sanji. Don't waste food, and it plays a lot to how he was in the G8 filler arc, where he was in a cooking contest and he just used the leftovers that one of the Navy cooks used, and he just made an even better spread than that Navy cook. So it's kind of revisiting that kind of narrative, and it was fun. I like this.
It is
It's
fun
weird.
seeing. It is very weird. It is fun seeing other people draw One Piece. It's always fun to see. Kind of just. I know a lot of these artists, especially of this generation of Jump, were influenced by Oda in some way. So it's really cool just seeing that affection. I know. The My Hero Academia author, did this whole thing for the movie with him and Oda, and we know that he was a big fan of One Piece. Before he started his series, he actually was in Usopp's gallery way back.
The Nisekoi guy said he liked One Piece.
Is his name Nisekoi?
Nisekoi guy, yeah.
Nisekoi guy
Mr.
from
Nisekoi, author of Nisekoi, starring Nisekoi.
From Nisekoi.
Okay, on that note, let's get into the anime recap. Sam, are you ready?
Yes.
I know Zach is.
This is the anime recap for episode 847, a coincidental reunion, Sanji and the love-struck evil pudding. I'm your host Sam, and today with me once again, our good friend Ed.
Hello, Sam. Here to talk about some anime once again. Yeah, the anime was alright this week.
I have a mixture of feelings.
Yeah, that's more like it, really. Honestly, I kind of like the part where they were fighting on the boat because on the Sunny, because that part was just, it wasn't chasing. Although I did find it funny that Katakuri and Perospero just stand around looking saucy while their underlings get defeated. Anyway, we'll get to that.
The title card this week begins at 3 minutes and 56 seconds. The first scene is Brook and Chopper in the Shark Submerge on their way to the Sunny. Once they're closing in, they're like looking at it through the telescope, and they think they see the crew, but it's just Big Mom's henchmen. There's a little sequence where Chopper, in a moment of excitement, is like squeezing his way between the seats on the submerge.
Yeah, and it's not really clear to me how far, like, they surface, and it's not really clear to me how far away they are from the Sunny, because soon enough they'll jump onto it. Which
Right.
I guess it makes sense, but
They're pretty good jumpers.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and so it's not the other Straw Hats who have arrived. It is Perospero and Katakuri and a bunch of chess peacekeepers and so on.
Mm-hmm.
We come back to a repeat of repeated
more-
animation of Nami.
Yeah.
Nami's lightning bolt hitting Big Mom and smacking her into the ground.
Yeah, it's more that we get that, and then we also get an alternate angle of it that we did not see before from the Sunny, which eats up quite a few minutes.
Yeah, it's basically so that we repeat that scene so that it can draw the attention of everyone on the Sunny.
Right.
And they can go, oh, your friends are dead. That must have been Mama. All that stuff.
Yeah.
And Brook and Chopper, they're not buying it, but Perospero is kind of offering them a deal. He's saying, I don't mind letting you go if it's just the two of you. Just run off in your little submarine and we will never speak of this again. And the chess pieces, they're drawing their arrows. I think that they were very proud of this little animation of them like pulling the arrow on their bow because they repeated it a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, I actually thought that the arrows, that was a pretty cool looking scene, especially when like Brook and Chopper get to, like, you know, because they have powers unlike the chess. They're actually just shooting regular arrows at them, so they get to destroy them and look kind of cool doing it, which was nice.
So yeah, Parasparrow makes his deal. He offers it. They kind of give they look at each other, Brook and Chopper. They kind of nod. They're on the same page. They're like, thanks. And then that's when the chess pieces are lowering their arrows because they think that they've accepted the deal. And then they follow it up with basically, but no thanks. And then they have to raise their arrows again. And Chopper's going into Kung Fu Point. He's flipping around, making his noises.
I was just reminded of I forget who said this, but someone that mentioned that like not jokes are like the lowest form of jokes. They're lower even than puns, which Brook and Chopper get to like make it. Yeah, we'll totally take your deal. Not. It's so cheesy, but it's like they're like the cheesiest members of the crew, kind of. Sanji can be, but it's a different way. They're not as goofy as. Well, maybe Frankie would fit in with that, but I think Chopper and Brook getting to do a gag like that is fun.
Yeah, like I really like how I really enjoy how because they're two characters who are normally scaredy cats,
right?
You know, so it's really awesome to see them like without missing a beat. They're just like, yep, we're fighting.
But everyone
else
goofy.
is depending on us.
It's a little goofy.
Yeah. That brings us back to the Seducing Woods. Mom is like down in the hole, and all the Straw Hats have stopped, and they're like kind of feeling the moment out. It is a little funny that they aren't just still running at this point.
Yeah. Well, but if they started running, they wouldn't see Mama coming up out of the ground like the shark in Jaws. Although I guess that's later in the episode, but it really looks like she's the shark in Jaws when she's like coming up above the ground line, but then she like sort of stalls and dips back down.
To evoke another Spielberg film, like when it's just the footsteps, I'm imagining the T-Rex like water droplets.
Right.
So yeah, she's still walking. She's walking right through the ground. Nothing will stop her. Jinbei is reminding us that nothing will stop Mom during her hunger pangs. That we come back to more fighting on the deck. As you said before, the animation just really looks great.
Especially after Brook freezes the deck of the Sunny and Chopper skates around and like does a kick. That was awesome.
Yeah. Brook's doing his Soul King thing because he can control the chess pieces, or he can kind of evaporate their souls with his soul powers.
I love the fuzzy I love the fuzzy geometry of Brook's bag of holding, where he keeps this guitar until the moment he does not need it, it completely disappears. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's it's kind of One Piece kind of has that Legend of Zelda logic with weapons,
right? A
lot of the time, and I like how I'm really amused how when Brook is jamming away on his guitar and he's got like the lights, the rock star lights going everywhere, and we're getting close-ups of like Parasparrow and Katakuri just watching this with the rock star background. It's really funny.
Yeah, Katakuri is just chilling. Like, he's like sitting on that little bench on the mast.
Parasparrow looks more amused, and Katakuri is just waiting for his turn.
Right. It's nice that they let their underlings, get beaten first.
I mean, it's nice for Toei, I guess.
It's nice for Brook and Chopper. They get to win a fight.
Yeah. So we come back. We're kind of just jumping back and forth between the Seducing Woods and the Sunny. And so we come back to the Seducing Woods, except now this time it's Pudding and Chiffon arriving on Rabian. They're kind of flying overhead. They're like, what's going on? What happened? Because they see like the crater and the burning woods and everything. We flash back to the end of the scene where Pudding was begging Chiffon to help her save Sanji.
Yeah, that eats up like another whole minute right there. I mean, I was starting to think of like, is this a different like view? Is this a different perspective of that scene? And like,
I think it's just the ending of the scene.
Yeah, it's just the same scene again.
Where Chiffon is making her plea to Bedge, like, okay, I've got to do this because whether you really mean something or not will be proven when the person you're indebted to is in trouble, which is a pretty cool line.
Yeah, it's actually, I mean, it's a good scene, but, you know, driving home the moral message of, like, Chiffon is kind of this good person, but I don't know. I don't know if we needed to see that again.
But then that's kind of juxtaposed to when we come back to the present.
That's
and
true.
They're flying in, and Chiffon is, you know, we see how determined she is, and and she's like kind of baffled by Pudding's like teenage girl squeeing.
Yeah, everyone's kind of baffled by Pudding. Like, even Luffy can see through her.
Right.
It's weird.
There's a sequence where they're closing in on them, and Pudding sees like a big pink circle around Sanji, and she's getting all excited,
Running with, like, roses in the background. And I've been watching Rose of Versailles, the old 70s anime, and you can see where, like, you know, like the trope of the roses just sort of rotating and sparkling, and it's in Utena too. It's just a very sort of shoujo-y thing to see.
Yeah, so they're swooping in. Sanji's immediately, you know, lovey-dovey about it. There's like a snippet of like animation here where it gets like really kind of shiny and like kind of a little over animated. And Nami's running animation is just like super distracting.
You know, I honestly didn't notice that. I actually remember the part where like, this is right, I guess it's right upon the part where I think that Big Mom looks like Jaws, but she says something, and then like this scares Carrot so badly that she like throws her hands up briefly and like puts her hands on her head as she's running, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, this is just one of those moments in the anime where just like there'll be a scene where suddenly the boobs are just flopping around. It even happens with like Pudding too, whose dress has like zero cleavage, but there's one shot where it's just like suddenly boom, lots of.
When she like, is that when she throws her head back and you can see all the way down there?
Yeah, and she's got like the hard eyes.
Yeah, that's it's not great. Like, that's not how that dress looks.
I just don't understand. I don't want to act like I'm above it or anything, but it does confuse me why Toei does not have somebody whose job it is just to say no sometimes.
Yeah, well, it's a short schedule. I don't know if they have time to say no.
So Chiffon is like, all right, Pudding, go on. You had a point you wanted to make. And Pudding she's clearly just enamored with Sanji, and she's trying to get the words out. She's like, pathetic fools. Mama will chase you to the ends of the earth. And she has not quite left her evil side behind yet.
Yeah.
And I really like Chiffon doing the straight man routine with her, just like reacting like, no, that's not what you're supposed to say.
See, I don't mind if they do the joke. Like, they do it like 2 times, and then the 3rd time she finally like gets it right. But I just feel like this takes too long. It's like, it shouldn't take like 5-6 minutes.
This is like my favorite part of the episode. So
Yeah.
So Pudding is just the total mess. Chiffon's the one who has to basically ask Sanji. She's like, okay, Pudding says you're good at sweets. Help us make this cake. They're explaining to Sanji and the crew that even if they get to the sunny, even if they make it out to sea, there's no way that they're gonna get out of this situation alive. Mm-hmm. So the only true course of action that we have is to work together, bake this delicious cake, calm Mom down, and maybe there will be a chance to get away. But Pudding's kind of doubling down on the tsundere stuff and the evil Pudding stuff, where she's like, oh, that's what Chiffon might say, but this is totally a coincidence. I just happen to be making this cake that I wanted to eat, and it happens to be the one that Mom wants, and I happen to be here asking you for help, Sanji. It's not like I wanted to help you or anything.
This is a gag that comes off much more tiresome to me in anime than it does in manga.
Really? Maybe I liked it a lot more here.
I don't know. I just thought that the timing of it was snappier when you read it, I guess.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know why. It's just sort of like, it makes like I ended up after the whole arc liking Pudding quite a bit, but this is like the part of the Pudding that I didn't like, and it's sort of dragged out to where it's not as funny as it was to me in the manga. So I'm like, I just sort of get tired of it. This
was like Oda putting all of his pudding chips on the table, like making a huge gamble with this character.
Yeah.
I enjoy how the anime version, it kind of hammers in the the futility of her like evil side coming out at all at this point in the story. It feels a lot more pointed here, where it's like what's even the point? Like everyone can see that you're in love with him. You're even like saying like lovey-dovey things to him, but then you're like trying to damage control and act evil, even though it's not fooling anybody. Like that.
Yeah, it's like
clear here.
Everyone else in the scene is the crowd at the Rocky Horror Picture Show, just going, "Say it."
Yeah, and I really like Pudding's voice actress. She puts
she's very
a lot.
good. Yeah.
A lot of it is in like the breath. Like she'll get really riled up and she'll be going off on like a big rant about Sanji. But then like when she's like, there's a sound of her like blowing off steam where she's like got this like angry breath at the end of her sentence, like, and it just like it communicates a lot of her about how she feels in that moment, I think.
And there's the part where she like turns away and like ends it with Sanji-san, and yeah, that I still liked that gag. That gag worked with the voice, I think. But yeah, I had my problems with this episode.
So the plan is to go to Chocolate Town, which is where we began the arc, and Chiffon is delivering all these like kind of cartoony diagrams of, okay, we're going to go here. Our plan is to lead Big Mom here, and all that stuff. And they're already getting us ready for the fact that Big Mom can traverse the ocean, and we don't really understand what that means yet. But and we have this little scene of Pudding like scooting back on her carpet to like make room for Sanji and bumping Nitro off the.
And but Chiffon has to catch him, right? I don't know. Do you even hear him speak that much, or he doesn't?
He's
have
just like, hey, don't screw me over. Just because you got a man in your life now doesn't mean you have to forget your friends.
The sky darkens. I like the sky darkening and this sort of forest green effect from the leaves. But the way it changes color, like, because they do a lot of good contrast. I think the anime has good color this week. Is that they do that where they like the sky is darkening and Mom's like take her sword back and like swing the sword, but then it goes to this like all white thing of Sanji and Pudding's hands grabbing towards each other. But then as the blow comes down, the whole screen turns pink from the attack. And
the Ikoku sovereignty,
right? And
that
looks really.
This
cool.
is the return of Overtaken for the first time in a while. Can't remember. I'm sure it was up towards. I'm sure it was up at the chateau. We heard it in one of those episodes, but I can't remember exactly when. It feels like it's been a long time. I wish they would just use it every week.
Probably has been a long time. We'll have to measure that and see how long that's been.
Yeah, so the episode ends with Sanji, barely grabbing onto the carpet to be pulled along, and that ends the episode. Any general thoughts, Ed?
I don't know. There were aspects of this episode that I liked. But again, the pacing is just dragging on me. And I don't know. And again, with some of the gags, I feel like that the anime sort of runs over the timing and the pacing of it. So it either just sort of falls flat, or like, it's, if it was subtle before, it's not subtle now. It's just, I don't know. I feel like the anime just has that tendency, or maybe it does it inherently. And I don't know, but this, like, episodes like this, I feel like are sort of part of the grind that we always get in the middle of these arcs. And I feel like I make the same complaints every couple of years or so, but then it gets better, and then the anime does other things better, and you sort of forget about these episodes.
Last week's episode was a grind for me, but this week's episode, I was feeling a lot more positive towards. We both like the broken chopper fight,
right?
And I think that's a good like companion piece to all the fighting that was the better looking fights from last week, where everyone's getting a little time to shine to get like some cool, well animated choreography fight scenes. It's a pretty messy episode overall. Like I understand that from like a logical point of view, but I also appreciate that this is like a significant turning point in the chase, where now it's not just about escape. Now it's about the cake. Now we've got this whole other thing that has to happen before we can get away. And I like that we're kind of solidifying that now instead of it just being chasing. And I also I've got a real soft spot for everything going on with pudding in general.
Right.
And so I just have lots of, independent of how the anime handles it, I've got a lot of feelings there. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. Cool. Is that it?
Yeah, I think we can move on to the next segment.
Right on. See you again next week for the anime recap.
This is the Piece Together segment where we have your big news Morgans, cool news Morgans, and Nick news Morgans all together in one place. Let's get started with emails, Ed. You're just stuck to the strong bad thing. First one comes from...
Oh, I got the emails right here for you.
First one...
From the front to the back, you check the email?
That's right.
How old is this reference now? 15 years old?
No, Trogdor is from like 2002.
Okay, so I was more than
Yeah, probably more.
The first email is titled Not One Piece Related. This one comes from Martin, who says, What is everyone's favorite What is everyone's favorite Treehouse of Horror segment, and why is it Nightmare Cafeteria?
Ooh. Man, this is a tough question. And
it's Citizen Kang.
I really like the Petri Dish one, which Talking Simpsons just did.
But you can't, anything that gives me go ahead, throw your vote away.
Oh,
and all the 96 election stuff. You can't, I don't know. I've said before that Cape Fear is my favorite Simpsons episode, and I kind of stick to that. But Sideshow Bob Roberts, again, I think might also be my favorite.
Well, that's not the question. Steve?
No, I know, but I'm just anything politics related on The Simpsons sort of gets me.
Man, I got in.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Sam.
It was a Treehouse of Horror that had the One Piece cosplay, right?
Oh, in the opening, yeah, I think. This is
I couldn't name one.
I really gotta go back and watch through all these, but I think the Citizen Kang was actually. I remember it was a Simpsons episode I had recorded on VHS, so I remember watching it a bunch of times, and I think I did quote it fairly recently when I said "rum," so no one will believe your story on a recent episode.
Shinning is also a very good one.
Shinning,
you know what?
That's the
Shinning
one I think.
is my favorite. Shinning.
Yeah. Okay.
The same episode too.
Should we move on to other questions? Wow, there's not a lot this week. Oh no, here's one. Dear OPP team, this one's from Theo from Germany. He says, since Oda stated the Straw Hat crew will expand by one additional member before the end of the series, I don't remember the specific. Oh, yeah, it's in an article way back, but I assume he was talking about Jinbei, and so does this reader. Oh no, he says, and assuming he considers Jinbei already being part of the crew, do you guys believe Carrot could join Sam? Wait 1 second. I am sure that Otama will be the one joining since Luffy needs to make sure Ace's promise gets somewhat fulfilled. Sam.
So there was that newspaper interview recently where he was kind of talking about how it seems like his attitude towards that story pattern shifted quite a bit over the years, where in the early days he's like, oh yeah, and then this person joins, and then this person joins, and part of the reason why it slowed down is because he doesn't seem like he has it in him to really believe that person would want to just throw their life away and join a pirate crew like that. So that's kind of the implication as to why people don't join as often as they used to. So I have pretty low expectations that we're going to see anyone else outside of Jinbei for being completely serious. Although I still would love if Carrot joined the crew, and I think that just from the variety, I think she fits in just really well. We've got a combat girl, and she's got electricity,
and she's also the younger sister type as opposed to the
younger
Nami
brother.
is kind. Well, yeah,
Chopper.
but Robin is sort of she's very motherly and very intelligent and very sort of worldly, and Nami is this sort of she's very forward and she's very money oriented.
You see, I said
I love
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No. I love in one of those recent chapters where they Oda kind of created this dynamic with Chopper and Carrot, where Carrot's very excited for adventure and Chopper's just screaming. That's
She's very
cute.
enthusiastic.
But
Yeah.
I mean, like, even if she doesn't officially join the crew, like she can stick around for like the rest of the story. Like I think most of the Alliance will.
That's what I was gonna say. I think we're I said this a while back, and I might eat my words with it, but I think we're past the point in the story where people are joining the crew. We have the Alliance. We have all of these like different facets going. The Minx, that Alliance, the Grand Fleet. I just don't see that happening. Also, Oda can't even draw all his characters like together now. We just talked about that great color spread from a few weeks ago, where he almost forgot to put Robin in. It looked like so. Like maybe we should be pushing more onto him, except for Jinbei, which I think all of us agree we want to see him joining, sooner rather than later, since he's essentially been, in the crew. But I think it's like Oda figuring out, how am I going to draw this giant whale shark in each color spread? But I'm sure he'll figure it out.
He does, Frankie. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's true. Next question comes from Ches, also Adesh, whichever he prefers to be called here. He says, I came across your podcast a few weeks ago on YouTube, and I have been hooked. I've just finished listening to the Great One Piece read-through episodes, which are also airing Fridays, for those who didn't know. And his workdays have been much more enjoyable. Can't wait until you get to the Zoe arc. I was previously an anime-only watcher, but thanks to your podcast, I am following the manga. And that one is just saying good things about us, so of course I had to read that, right? Let's see what else we got here. I think that's going to be it for email. So Ed, our Reddit song.
I don't think we have one.
No, but you can make one up right now.
Wow.
Reddit or not, we're reading some questions.
There you go.
You just coined a new part of our podcast. So Ed, do you want to read these, or
Sure, I'll do it.
Go for it.
Larry23 says, Hey, OPP, thanks for putting out the read-throughs again. It's been a blast. My question relates to Oda Sensei's recent interview and the inclusion of Ace and Wano so far. Oda mentioned Luffy moving past what happened to Ace, and a couple of chapters ago he was mentioned, but Luffy didn't really address the issue. I know some fans really want Oda to explore Luffy's emotion toward Ace's death in the story, and we have that possibility now. So what would you realistically imagine Oda to write with regards to this? Is it even in Luffy's character to express emotion like that after the fact? I just don't know.
I think he's just like lived with it for a few years now, and it's just not going to be as raw.
Yeah, I guess we saw him going through all that raw emotion when he was on Amazon Lily after the fact. Mm-hmm. That's like, I don't know. Luffy doesn't seem like the person to dwell on things like that, unless say Blackbeard was like in the scene, like that, like he'd be angry directly at him for doing what he did. But I don't know if he has that regret like that or any lingering emotion.
Yeah, I think Luffy's very like, it's one of the rare cases where Luffy is very pragmatic. I think he understands death and its finality pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Luffy's like coping with it. It's just carrying on with his life and his dream, because that's like what Ace would have wanted him to do. So I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else really to explore. Like Ed said, we had that moment on Amazon Lily, and Luffy's just, he's moved past it.
Right. Okay. Next one comes from. I might not have read this question except for the name, but it comes from Kiki Bumsex. So he says, "Yo, what if, like, to throw out there is the cool dynamic that Luffy's crew will have by the end of the story? Zoro is the greatest swordsman, Nami the greatest navigator, Usopp is the best marksman / liar, Sanji's the world's greatest cook, Chopper the world's best doctor, and Robin is the world's greatest scholar. Frankly, is the world's greatest shipwright.
Frankly, I am the world's greatest shipwright.
And Jinbei is the world's greatest helmsman. Do you think this will come true by the ending, or am I talking rubbish? Cheers, guys. Keep up the good work."
Yes,
I wonder if you really are British.
I don't know. Cheeky Bumsex indicates yes.
Well, like, are you like just assuming like, oh, well, since they're the main characters, they're going to be the best at what they do, or because half of these aren't their dreams, like like Frankie doesn't want to be the world's greatest shipwright. He just wants to build a great ship and see it through its journey. Brooke just wants to see a giant whale again.
Yeah, I mean, he already is kind of. I mean, he did become a world famous musician. Like, kind of already is.
Yeah, he was in the.
Super famous.
Yeah, he was in. Yeah, that's true. He did that already.
I mean, there's an aspect like, especially with like Robin. Like, if you find the poneglyphs and route to the end of the world, like, I guess it does kind of make you the best scholar.
And
archaeologist.
Jinbei's just a civil rights activist.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fair.
I mean, I feel like Luffy and Zoro's dreams are like the most directly like the world will recognize me kind of dreams, and the other ones not so much.
Yeah, Nami drawing a map of the world is also but that's also personal. But it's mostly for her as opposed to like getting notoriety for doing it. All right, Super Dude.
Although if she did sell, the maps, I'm sure she'd be happy about it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, Super
World's
Dude, you
richest
gotta ask.
woman. There we go.
Super Dude, you gotta ask your question for Steven next week when he's back on the show. Next one comes from ATLA for Life, who says, "You guys live in the One Piece world, and Zack has eaten the bagel fruit. What powers does he have?" I'll tell you what powers he doesn't have. The power to not eat himself.
It's going to be that
the
Simpsons
power
episode.
to eat a bagel.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Damn it.
What is your what's the stupid thing that was introduced in Dressrosa? What's your awakened devil fruit power? Do you just
turn things into bagels?
Cream cheese.
All right. This is a little disturbing, but I had a weird dream and my face got swollen, and then it pretty much I was looking in the mirror and it basically looked like it turned into like a poppy seed bagel. So I think eating a fruit called the bagel fruit might be overrated. Zach, you don't want to have a big balloon face that looks like a poppy seed bagel.
You see, it's what Jill said. The fruit is just the ability to eat bagels whenever you want. It's amazing, guys. Plus, you can't swim,
What about all those carbs, though?
Oh, fuck.
All right. Last one comes from Lame for Fame, who says, "Hey, OPP, because of your recent-ish discussions about Perisparrows and Oven's use of devil fruit powers in the water being inconsistent with the rest of the series, I went back to check. Usually substances produced by devil fruits don't disappear when they touch water. Mr. Three's wax in Alabasta, Kizaru's light shots in Marineford, Kuzan's ice. The only exceptions I could find were Crocodile and Moria's zombies, which seem... Crocodile, and also Moria's zombies, I think, which seem like specific weaknesses of their fruits. Oven using his fruit actively with his hands in the water also mirrors Aokiji freezing the sea in Long Ring Longland, so they probably only get disabled once you're sufficiently submerged, same as with the immobilization effect that water has on devil fruit users. Also, the weakening effect only works with standing water, according to an SBS answer, which is why Jinbei's water attacks did not weaken Big Mom while she was on the Sunny, which I recall some confusion about. I wonder how Ace, Sabo, and Araka Inu's power would be affected.
Also, if you have a magical wooden board and you're floating on it, you're fine.
That's true.
Yeah.
Don't you have to be doesn't half your body have to be submerged before it starts to take effect?
I think that was for the immobilization effect. I think that's what he was talking about. That was discussed in SBS.
It's like the same reason you would see a watch on a character in The Simpsons. It works the way Oda wants it to in that moment. And unfortunately, he's not very consistent with it, unfortunately.
Well, you got to keep in mind when they explain devil fruits in the series, they never say, "Oh, it's like the sea makes all your powers null and void." They just always say, "You can't swim; you'll sink like an anchor." So no one's ever said like, "Oh, your powers will stop working." It's just like, "Oh no, like your powers."
But what about Sea Stone? And what about it's what this person said with Moria's zombies and with Crocodile? It's Crocodile, it's sand specific, but Moria's zombies
also
with the salt.
But the zombies, that is also part of the way the salt is to purify. It goes to yokai and stuff like that. Demons are purified with salt. So
I did forget about Sea Stone. That makes things complicated.
Sea Stone is what
Oda.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure there's an SBS where he kind of goes into the nitty gritty of it.
We'll wait until we see Vegapunk, Rick Sanchez, whatever his name is. Anyway, that'll do.
There's a great explanation for that I won't get into. Hurry along.
And it's time to
Peace the Tweet.
What's this week? What's going on?
First one comes from Operation Drew, who says, I'm not really big into theories, but I wanted to ask your opinions about this. Could it be possible Big Mom and Kaido had formed an alliance to take down rocks sometime in the past? That's why Big Mom mentioned that statement to Kaido on the Dendenmushi.
I think they either were in an alliance together in the past, or were on the same crew in the past, or butted heads in the past around.
Or
rocks.
other parts of their bodies.
Their butts.
Sure.
Sounds plausible.
Yeah. I mean, there's not enough evidence to prove it right. There's not enough evidence to prove it wrong. But it's
the
definitely
perfect theory.
It's a good take.
Yeah, no, yeah.
All right, next one comes from Anime Queen 95, who says, not sure if anyone has suggested the possibility that the empty throne Doflamingo refers to in his speech at the end of the Dressrosa arc is the one we saw at the Reverie, as opposed to the Pirate King's quote-unquote throne.
I thought you guys did mention that connection, but if not, I think there's certainly a connection there, because Doflamingo was... there's so much about the Reverie I did not get a chance to talk about because I wasn't here. But Doflamingo was present just before we saw Emu, and that whole scene, and just before that empty throne discussion right after Dressrosa. So there's kind of a parallel that I think we're supposed to gather that Doflamingo's talking about the same thing there. In my opinion, yeah. If you go back and reread it, it sounds like he's talking about that.
All right, next one comes from Glug Blue Raptor, who says, I'd like to point out two theories. One, Tama used her abilities to tame Luffy by feeding him. And the two Kitetsu are attracted to each other, and that's how Luffy found Zoro so quickly. That's all. Thank you for your time. That was very polite. I don't know. I kind of like the second idea, that the cursed blades would be sort of attracted to each other.
And Luffy is a monkey, so...
So he can be tamed, is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. If anyone else, I'll move on to the next one. Elver Gun says, Shokugeki no Soma. This is what Oda meant by the year of Sanji, huh? And also, apparently, it says, Panda Man chilling with Soma cracked me up. Was that in, the chapter of Food Wars? I don't think I saw Panda Man in this chapter.
If it was, I didn't see it, but let me...
if you listen to this, let us know what you're talking about, because we don't know.
Or Jill is on the case.
Yeah. I was actually reading this week's Food Wars.
Captain Blackhair asks, if each of the Straw Hats ran a restaurant, what kind of food would they serve, and what would the name of the restaurant be?
Well, Luffy blew up a kitchen, so I don't know if that's a good plan.
I don't know, if Luffy owned a restaurant, it would just be like Brazilian steakhouse food.
Nami's ripoff bar.
Right? Perfect. Chopper's, I don't know, candy stand. Frankie's Burgers, of course. Frankie Burger Man. Yeah, and it would be called Frankie Burger Man. Or Burger Frankie 37. Does anyone else have any ideas?
This is for a bar?
Or no, any Straw Hat having a restaurant. What would it be called?
Yeah, Steve Bluno already has a bar, so.
How can you forget? Yeah.
Okay.
Usopp's greatest bar in the world.
No refunds.
All right, next one comes from Nura G123. It says, hey, One Piece Podcast, what are your favorite natural occurrences created by Oda in the One Piece world? For example, Reverse Mountain, Florian Triangle, Candy Rain. Love listening to your podcast from Kuwait. Keep up the good work. Always love to hear from our international listeners.
Yeah, I like hearing where they're from, too.
I thought the koi fish from a few weeks ago were awesome.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Well, the reverse waterfall. Granted, that's the second time we've seen that particular phenomenon, but...
No, it wasn't reverse. I thought we determined it was going in the regular direction, but the koi were going upstream.
I guess.
Yeah. Because it's supposed to be based on that.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go, Sam.
It's based on that legend about the koi fish going up the waterfall.
Right.
I like the whole ability of clouds to host Skypiea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the fact that there's a civilization on the moon. I don't know if Zach's mentioned that lately.
Yeah, Shut up. I I just I'm looking forward to seeing more about that before that's like the thing, you know. But yeah.
I've actually always loved the knock-up stream, like just the fact that they came up with like a scientific explanation for it that sounds like the kind of thing that might happen in the real world, even though it doesn't.
Candy coated raindrops. No, I think that is actually would be pretty gross.
Everything would be sticky all the time.
Yeah, that's what, like those were some great chapters. But I just remember, like, oh god, they're gonna feel so gross in jail.
Right. All right. Next one comes from our very own Brian Newton, Dark King Zero on Twitter, who says, "Don't know if y'all talked about it last week, but I wonder if the events of Amigasa, where 5 samurai died, are meant to mirror the film The Seven Samurai, where 5 of the 7 were killed defending a poor village from bandits."
You know, it crossed my brain. Yeah, spoiler. It's been a couple decades since that's come out, or half century. That crossed my mind. I think that's totally possible.
Yeah, if Joey wants to let us know, he's probably seen that movie more recently than the rest of us. All right, and the last one comes from Dark Leviathan, who says, "Because we're on a break and you guys asked me to ask on a break, I'll ask again. Zach Logan, hope you have your dog book at hand. What kind of dog would each OPP crew member be? Bonus if you also get one for Matt Cohen."
So, I prepped only the breeds so we could go through it. I don't have the book with me, but I went to a website. So, also giving it to everyone here in on the podcast. So let's see. Should we go in order? Should we do me first, I guess?
God,
What am
pompous
I?
ass.
Okay, fine.
What is Zach?
Kind of are a black lab.
Yeah, I almost kind of think that is very akin to you.
Yeah, I mean, when you get a dog, it has to be one that looks like you. It's just
Exactly like you. Yeah.
Okay, what would Ed be?
Oh, man. Probably some sort of, I don't know, bulldog or something like that. Because it has the... Because I have a bit of an underbite, and it makes me kind of look like a bulldog sometimes.
Bulldog was the first thing that came to mind, so I'm going to say bulldog.
Yeah, I think we can't choose our own usually, but yeah, I guess that works. Sam. Who's Sam?
Sam is a poodle.
I have a bulldog.
Too late.
It's taken already. That's not how that
No,
works.
what's a dog
Sam
with
is
long limbs or something? You know.
Okay, it doesn't just have to be physicality, does it? I mean, it's also personality.
What's my temperament?
I'm looking through these. I feel like there's a beagle-ish, something about Sam and a beagle. I have no real reason to think.
Skye Terrier?
I don't know what a Skye Terrier. Let me look what that is.
I don't think that's me.
SKY? Oh yeah. Oh God. SKYE for those wondering. I don't know. Steve? Did we pick Steve already? We didn't pick Steve yet.
No, I don't think I have one.
The a Great Dane. A Weimaraner a little bit.
A what?
A Weimaraner? You know what those are?
Oh, I see it now.
They used to be in those photograph books that was famous. Do you guys remember what I'm talking about?
Nope.
Okay.
Books.
What about Jill? Unless other people have a Steve one.
I'm a cat.
I like that.
I don't think I would agree with that, but okay.
Who's the Scottish Terrier? I'm just looking at the terriers. They're really interesting.
Terriers are interesting.
I
don't know. Actually, I think Matt Cohen would like to be the same kind of dog as his dog.
Helmut. Yeah. I think that's appropriate.
It was a Chihuahua. It was a small dog. Right?
It was a mutt.
Yeah.
Helmut. There you go.
But it was definitely it had some Chihuahua-ish features, but it was probably mixed.
It actually looks like that Australian Kelpie, which is a dog I've never seen before, but that's kind of what it looked like. Okay.
So, what about Alex? Alex.
Oh.
Boston Terrier?
Uh,
French Bulldog?
No, he's not.
Is he a terrier?
Actually, Steve might even be a Bull Mastiff. Because they're super friendly, but they're enormous and a little slobbery. Not saying.
Oh yeah, a big wolf.
What did I get? Beagle?
That's just what I said. I don't know. That's
I don't know. I kind of like
like a big beagle.
Beagles are very.
No,
hyper.
I think it was like a greyhound or something. Just I don't know. That's just because you're tall.
I think
I think Steven would be a greyhound.
Mm. Okay.
I don't know what a Leon burger is, but it's both a cute dog
Sounds
and a
tasty.
great name. It's okay. What's next, Ed? Or is that it?
That was it. That was the last one.
Okay. So why don't we do a little trivia and round off? You guys ready?
Okay.
I can't find Panda Man.
This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 530 for July 30th, 2018. We're back with our normally regular manga recap next week for chapter 913.
No, next week's also a break, isn't it?
No, I think
God, please no.
I think
all
Oban is
of
the
Jump-
week after. I think it's
Oh.
the week after.
Yeah, there's a double issue. There is a double issue coming out.
Okay. Yeah, so if you're terrified of this week's image, you could thank Maddie. Maddie, how could the good people contact you out there?
You can find me on Twitter at the letter O, that's Raspberry, where I post One Piece drawings a lot. And you can also find me on Patreon, patreon.com/OH, that's Raspberry, where for $5 a month, you can get an exclusive postcard every month in the mail.
Yes, and please subscribe to her Patreon if you haven't. Obviously, her art is pretty amazing and hilarious. Sam, where can people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Lucky Chainsaw. They can find me on AnimeNewsNetwork.com doing the daily streaming reviews for One Piece, My Hero Academia, and Black Clover. And they can find me on the One Piece podcast every week doing the anime recaps.
Steve.
Hey, you can find me on social media like Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr. It's Steve Yurko, all one word. I will be tabling at Crunchyroll Expo in San Jose, California, September 1st through the 3rd. Found out my table number. It's in Artist Alley 541. See you there.
And Anime New York City you're going to be at?
Yeah. Just found out I got accepted, and I think I'm going to go. So in case you go to New York Comic Con and you miss out on the Stever.
Or miss out on the anime.
Or you could go to freaking the pier a mile away. I'm not going to slag that. I'm thinking about going to that convention. So I've been to New York so many times this year. Why not more? So
yeah. Jill, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and most other social media at Pirates on Luck. I'm also going to be going to Final Fantasy Fan Fest in November. Didn't get tickets like most everyone else I know, so I'm not bitter about that. You can find me at the Alcoholic Taco Bell in full cosplay instead.
Big Mom?
what?
No, in Final Fantasy cosplay.
Oh, Final Fantasy. Okay.
Is there booze at Taco Bell?
There's an Alcoholic Taco Bell cantina in Vegas.
Ooh, Taco Bell.
Not. Ed, where can people find us?
Spiked Baja Blast.
That'd be so good. Anyway, podcast can be found at OnePiecePodcast.com. Oh, and you're Zach_Logan on Twitter. I'm Edward E. One Piece. Podcast is at OnePiecePodcast.com, as I said, Twitter.com, YouTube.com, and Facebook.com/OnePiecePodcast. OnePiecePodcast@gmail.com is our email address. OnePiecePodcast is our Skype name. Support us, Patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. Send us some Piece together. Our Reddit subreddit is r/OnePiecePodcast. You can subscribe on SoundCloud, subscribe on Google Play, subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, or call us on our phone number. Zach?
That phone number is 347-497-MAJI. That phone number again is 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Aji.
With your questions, comments, or cook, fall in love. With us. Right? Okay, whatever. If you haven't, also please subscribe to us on Patreon at patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. The images that Maddie drew this week and did not make the cut are also pretty damn amazing. You should definitely check those out at patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. That's for the $5 and up level. We also have the One Piece read-through going on. This is the last week where we'll be giving away a One Piece compendium, so please make sure to tweet with the hashtag OPReadthrough if you have not, and include your favorite arc in One Piece, and why, if you also would like to include that. So, before we end, we have some trivia, and this week, to celebrate whatever the hell just happened in Shingeki... Whatever, I don't care what it's called.
Shokugeki no Soma.
Shokugeki no Sanji. I had it at one point and then I lost it. We are going to go through the named chefs in One Piece. This is probably one of the hardest quizzes I have given.
Oh wow.
Oh my god.
Because they're ones you would know, but you wouldn't think about, if you know what I mean. The
Does
order,
filler count?
no. Sorry. It's gonna be Ed, Sam, Steve, Jill, and I'm guessing Maddie does not want to play. So unless she wants to, she could tell me right now. So we're gonna go in that order. Remember, the rules are to name one of the people, one of the characters in this category. If you name the same one, the wrong one, or can't answer in time, you are out. Let's start with you, Ed. Name a chef in the One Piece world.
I'm gonna go with Sanji.
That is a weird choice. Sam.
Strusen.
Going with the hard one. Steve.
Patty.
Jill.
Carne.
Ed.
Zeff.
Sam.
Would pudding count?
Yep.
Okay.
Steve. She's a chocolate chef.
Chiffon.
Jill.
Welp.
3 seconds. Who did you say?
Welp is incorrect.
Welp is incorrect. Yep. I was giving you one more chance, but okay.
I don't care.
Sorry, Jill. Yes, you do. She just hates me. But you guys made this torture for me, so I just throw it the other way around. Ed. Round 3.
Terracotta.
Yep. I did not remember that she was a chef.
Wow.
Good one.
Sam.
Hot John?
Yeah, takoyaki. Steve.
Wanze.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yes. Round 5, Ed.
Oh man.
3 seconds. Sorry, Ed.
Shaki. No, she doesn't. She's not a chef.
No, she's a bartender. I don't know if I would get that.
Yeah.
Sam. If no one gets this round, we're gonna have to do some sort of tiebreaker.
I don't know.
Steve, you win if you name
crap.
any chef.
Crap on a crappy crap cracker.
To be fair, the rest are hard.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that woman from the cooking contest in Log?
She's not canon.
Steve,
Doesn't
3
matter.
seconds, Steve.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
Shit
Shit is not an answer.
Wait, hold on. I don't know.
So this is what I'm gonna do. Since we have more chefs, I'm going to give hints. And the person who could get the most out of this. So we got Ed, Sam, and Steve are still in this. Ace's cover story includes 2 chefs. Name any. Ed. This is the hardest one, so that's why I'm starting with this.
I don't even remember the girl's name. No.
Yeah.
I'll give you guys one more hint. It is her parents. Both of her parents are chefs.
God.
Yes.
Do any of you know
gathered.
this? Do any of you know this?
No, I don't.
Sam?
Nope.
Steve? No.
Nope.
Okay. Who is the... Ed gets first guess at this. Who is the chef on Whitebeard's ship?
Ooh.
I know this.
But you're not in.
Namule.
Nope. Sam?
Is it going to turn out to be someone from the novels?
Not Sam.
No.
Which Jill said no. Sam, you got 3 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know.
Steve. Just guess
I don't
anyone from Whitebeard. It does not hurt.
God, there's the one character I'm thinking of, but I forget his name, so I'm just gonna say Vista.
Jill, you want to tell everyone the answer?
Thatch.
Yep.
Fuck!
Oh,
Damn you, Thatch! You
that explains the ascot.
Fan fiction.
It does explain the ascot. Okay. Next one. Should I pick a hard one or an easy one?
Yeah, it's been going so good for you so far.
Okay, let's do an easier one. Ed, you get first dibs. Who is the chef for the Germa crew?
Oh, wow.
Oh man.
Oh.
I don't remember her name.
Sam.
Cassette.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so Ed is out. Steve, who is the chef for the Giants? The new Giant crew that we just saw in the color. In
The new
the
ones.
spreads. Yeah, the new one.
Shoot.
3 seconds. Otherwise, Sam wins.
Oh.
God damn it!
You're gonna hate yourself for not knowing.
I know.
Can I
am, 'cause
guess?
there's like
Ed, you could
there's only,
guess.
All right. Is it Gert?
Nope. The
That isn't
answer for
Is it
that
Goldberg?
one. Yep, it's Goldberg. Sam double wins.
Goldberg.
The goalie.
Ace's cover story, the Moda's mom and dad are Koda and Kyuji, respectively.
Okay.
Bellamy's cook is Hewitt. You
Deep
guys
call.
remember her, right? There's the famous Yoshimoto, who is the owner of the restaurant Spice Bean in Alabasta. He's the one who serves Smoker and Ace. There's Lola.
Lola,
Rika.
Mika, who makes the rice balls, right?
Yep.
Oh.
Which I guess counts according to One Piece Wiki.
Would Otama call? She can make food.
That's true.
No one said her, so I would have taken it. I think
It's why it applies to Rika, but it's not that many of the Charlotte family because we don't actually see them cook anything.
there's Loki and Skypea.
Wait,
And
you can't just say
Apparently.
that she's a cook because she's a woman.
no, thank you, Ed. I'm the one who made that up. I just picked all the women out.
But let's be honest though, if you say anyone who makes food, technically we could say Luffy is a chef. Doesn't have to be
He
edible.
did make the junk at that one point.
No. Oh, this is where it comes from. It's from the Decks of the World. Loki has a bar with Kami.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
That's
Conus.
true.
Conus,
I'm
I'm
curious.
sorry.
Curious if Bellamere counts because she made a dinner spread out of tangerines.
No. Actual cooks. I would have also taken, because it was on One Piece Wiki, the Whole Cake Island 31. But that would have been a little cheap, I would have thought. Anyway, that does it for the One Piece podcast. Definitely our hardest trivia. Sam is our winner. He gets a taiyaki when I see him. Thank you all for being on the show this week. We'll be back with our regularly scheduled One Piece podcast next week. Until then, my name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
See you next week, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.
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 増えてゆくイエーイ風を感じよう風を感じるんだ涙乾かしてくれる風を探しに行こう冒険の旅誰かと出会うために立ち止まらないさほら前に大切な君が待ってる
I don't think it works as a title, but it's amazing. And so is the Zeff one, and I don't know what we would title that, but it's amazing.
Red Lip Zeff.